Generally speaking, there are details that do cheapen a person's appearance, such as chipped nail polish or if you have applied too much makeup. But today's list is going to go one step further because we really need to talk about the worst things that one can do to their appearance. Now listen, we all make mistakes. I've made bad choices in my life, and I'm sure that can happen to the best of us. The point is not to feel bad about ourselves or chase some form of ideal or be a perfectionist. No, I'm making this video because I just want to make you aware. Maybe there is room for some form of improvement. Maybe you are doing something right now that is holding your fullest potential back, or maybe even making your surroundings perceive you in a way that is not really accurate. Now let's go over this list. Number 1, poorly made eyebrow tattoo. Actually, this can be applicable to any face tattoo, such as lip liner or lip tattoo or eyeliner. But why I'm bringing up the eyebrow tattoo? It's simply because eyebrows are so much in focus and take up quite a lot of space on your face, meaning that people do pay attention and notice if something is off in this area. Now, those things are always because you have chosen someone who is not good at their job. And we're talking about when professionals, let's say, don't understand the pigment that they're using, and so the color might end up being wrong for you or even completely distorted, such as turning yellow or turning blue or turning green. And then you're like stuck with these green eyebrows. Or let's say they don't fully understand the face shape of a person, so they actually draw a shape of eyebrows that is not suitable for you at all. Or maybe a shape that is not really nice, or a shape that is way too harsh. I think the harsh eyebrow is one of the more common ones as well, when people don't understand that you actually have to have more of a fade going on in the beginning, and then the kind of eyebrow becomes stronger and stronger. But instead, some professionals, they just kind of make it harsh all the way from the beginning until the end, and that is a big mistake. As you can probably guess, why this is a big problem is because we're talking now something that is fairly permanent. A tattoo is going to last you for several years. You can't just go and fix it if it ends up looking bad. You actually have to go through a really difficult process of fixing a terrible face tattoo. You have to do a laser, you're gonna spend a lot of money, you're gonna look absolutely terrible while you are doing this, and it's gonna cost you a lot of money. So it's just too much of a big risk to go and try somebody that might not do their job right, and then you are gonna have to pay the price. Now, my advice is to not risk it, really. If you are gonna find a professional, make sure you have actually been recommended by someone to use their services. Make sure that you have seen their work in real life, meaning that you haven't just, seen their Instagram and saw some good photos of their work. No, you have to see it in person. You have to actually have a friend or two who tells you like, they were amazing, I recommend them. This is not a service that you can mess about with, so take this advice seriously. Number 2. Now, we're not going to talk about something as serious as face tattoo, but I still think this is very important. And we're going to talk about your hair, because here we also need to get the color right, and especially the tone right. I mean, there are so many coloring mistakes that I think we all will probably go through in life at some point, because it's difficult to sometimes end up with a colorist that is good and knows what they're doing. Sometimes we might end up in a color that is not suitable for us, whether it is too light or too dark or has a undertone that is not suitable for our skin tone. Or maybe something goes off with the color. Maybe, I don't know, your blonde hair color is now green or too orangey or something like that. These details are so important to pay attention to. Because going back to what I said earlier, this is even more in center focus than your eyebrows. Like, this is your hair. People really do pay attention to your hair because, it takes up quite a lot of space. So you cannot have something that is poorly colored or looks bad, looks dirty, looks unkept because it's too visible. This advice is not to tell you that you should have perfect hair. We all have struggles with our hairs, and it's not possible to always have a perfect blow dry going on. But the goal should be to not have your hair looking bad. Have it looking plain, have it like blend in with the rest of you, but do not have it look bad. When it draws attention, when people are noticing and wondering, why did you do that to your hair? Why does your hair look so dirty? No. My advice, same as before, make sure you really find a good colorist. Here, I know that we oftentimes have to do a little bit more experimentation, but luckily hair color is slightly easier to fix than a badly made tattoo. But still, try to go per recommendation. And don't always trust Google reviews, because people lie. Number 3. Of course, we have to talk about cosmetic procedures. This list wouldn't be without them, but I want to start by talking about don't just go and do kind of procedures that everybody's doing. Because I feel like right now we're going through a pandemic where everybody just looks the same. Everybody does the same, jawline, the same lips, the same eye, the same cheekbone, the same everything. And so I'm sure you've noticed kind of the Instagram face or the Facetune face, like where everybody just looks the same. And it's not just Photoshop. Like I see people in person and I'm like, wait, is that Kim Kardashian, or is that person, or is that actually that person, or is that person? Because honestly, they all look the same. I want you to know that I am all about pro surgery and use cosmetic enhancements when needed. But I'm all about balance and how it is important to be very cautious, very careful, and think less is more. Because if you do XYZ that everybody's doing, then yes, you're gonna look like everybody else. If you don't like your nose, sure, go and fix your nose. But doing the nose, the lip, the jawline, the eye, the this, the that, then you're just looking like the Instagram girl. I think keeping some natural elements to your face, to your facial structure is important, even if maybe it's not perfection or it's not the Angelina Jolie jawline, but at least it's your jawline. Now, my advice is this. I do recommend, if you want to tweak something, if you really feel like it's necessary and important for you, go and do it. But just keep it mindful. Instead of maybe doing, 5 things, maybe do just 2 things. Number 5. Now this one, I speak from personal experience because I have made my teeth. And let me tell you, it is tricky when choosing color. And one of the common mistakes, not just when you are doing veneers or porcelain crowns, but also when you're bleaching your teeth, is that you over bleach them or you choose a color that is just too white. When it screams artificially made, when it doesn't look natural, and every time you speak or smile, people are like, whoa, I need sunglasses looking at that girl or guy, because actually even men do this mistake. Now I know, based from my own experience, that when you are doing, let's say, veneers, and choosing a color, you have to keep in mind that your teeth are going to become slightly darker with kind of wear and tear because you're going to be drinking red wine, coffee, tea, etc. So yes, they're going to darken slightly. So you can do just slightly whiter knowing that they're going to become darker. Unfortunately, that doesn't stop people from just choosing a color that is way too white. It just becomes too distracting, and that's what people are going to be kind of focusing on, especially when you're talking. I think it is important to look natural. Certainly teeth are important, and of course having a white smile can be very beneficial in many ways because you certainly will look kind of fresher and more vibrant. Just be careful once you start looking artificial. I really do believe that those small but oftentimes overlooked details like wrinkled clothes or chipped nails or smudged makeup, etc., that they all communicate a message about you, whether you like it or not. And I think it is important that when you go to, let's say, important events or business meetings or first dates or any other kind of everyday activity, that they are aligned with who you truly are and that they communicate the right message about you. And my goal is to help you get aligned because I really want you to gain confidence. I want you to level up in life. But I am aware that most of you don't have the time to figure everything out by yourself. However, that's why you have me here, because I have actually created a checklist, the Elegance Checklist Beauty Edition, because this checklist is here to save you time and a bunch of stress too, because actually I have covered all those important details that you really need to cross-check. Details that actually act as deal breakers in your appearance. And if you just have a glance at this checklist when you get ready or before leaving house, you will never have to wonder if you look polished or professional, because this checklist has gathered all the elements that could potentially downgrade your appearance. Now, if you want to get your hands on this digital copy, you go to lookpresentable.com, or if you're a Level Up class student, you have it free of charge available inside the platform. Now, this one is a sensitive topic, so please listen carefully and try and understand the context that I'm presenting it in, because this is actually very much bound to my own personal story, so maybe some of my thoughts are going to be very subjective, but I really do believe in the advice that I want to give you on this topic. I'm talking about having adult acne. I had it myself and it was terrible. I'm not talking now just having a few pimples here and there. I'm talking about when you have quite a lot, especially in adult age. It's normal to have it when you're a teenager, but once you are 20 plus or 30 plus or whatever, and you still have problems with acne, my advice is to really seek professional help. Go and see a doctor and do consider medication if you feel like that could be an option for you. I did medication, I took Accutane treatment, and to be honest, it changed my life. I mean, was it difficult? Yes. 6 months of constant blood checkups and medication and certain side effects. But you know what? It cured my acne for the rest of my life, even though I can get, still acne once a month. But it leveled up such a big part of my appearance, and my skin improved so much. It was like this big weight lifted off my shoulders. And I asked myself, why didn't I do this before? Why did I wait so long? I think I waited until my kind of late 20s. I regret that big time, especially because during all those years with adult acne, I started developing acne scars. And so the point of the story is that don't let it go so far. Try and do something about it now. Now, I'm not a medical profession, so I don't know everything that's possible and not. All I know that there is medication and there are certain ways of how you can treat it. So have a look whether that could be an option for you. Number 6, I'm talking about when you are just leaving your mustache and beard visible. Now, mind you, some of you might not have anything going on there, so you can just kind of skip this advice. But some of us have to really pay attention. I do not know why this happens, probably some hormonal reasons behind. But having a little bit of mustache here or a little bit of beard, it is something that a lot of women have, and some women get really long hairs. Now, depending on your color and complexion, it might be visible, it might not be visible. But one thing is for sure, that in broad daylight, when you are in the profile, people do see hair sticking out if you have any visible hairs. So do pay attention to that. Consider maybe whether face shaving could be an option for you. Not like with a regular razor, but with a special face razor. But just try to pay attention to these details, because it does downgrade a woman's appearance when she has a beard and mustache. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. Men are more allowed to have that than us women. Lastly, of course, we're going to talk more about cosmetic procedures, because I think we all know that overly botched faces, or when you, let's say, have done a nose job and it really did not turn out well, maybe it looks a little bit like a Michael Jackson nose, or maybe now all the fillers that you've injected has made your face so puffy and you look like a Catwoman. The point is, you really need to have a healthy sounding board system in your life, meaning that you have friends or family members that you can really trust that will tell you when, listen, I think you're taking some of those fillers or Botox or surgeries to an extreme, like it's not looking good anymore, or you are starting to look very unnatural. Like I was saying before, I am pro surgery, I'm pro altering with your appearance. I just feel like you have to take baby steps forward and really go to the right professionals, really do your research, really take the time to take these decisions. Don't just rush into things, don't just do something just because it's a trend. Be mindful what you do to yourself, because in the end of the day, what's going to happen that you do a bunch of stuff, it might end up making you look weird. And then that is the kind of first impression that you lead with in the society or in your surroundings. And then when you are interacting with the world, people might get very distracted by the physique. They might never really understand who you truly are, because what's going on there is just very distracting. I think a truth that a lot of people don't like to hear is the fact that Our appearances does communicate a message, whether we like it or not. It is silent communication. We are sending out cues and clues about ourselves, and sometimes those clues can be misleading. That was the reason to why I wanted to make this video, so that we don't make certain mistakes that just takes us on a path that is not working in our favor. Now, having said this, I have more videos on this subject on my channel. Now, in my next video, I'm going to give you more hints about what things you should fix that could potentially be cheapening your appearance. Make sure you hop on over there because I will see you there.